This is section 3.4, day 1, and today we're going to talk about slope, which you've done in previous classes, so we're just going to kind of expand on what you've done before to write equations of lines and graph. So first we're going to talk about slope, which is really just rise over run. We've been talking about that for a while, and then we do have a formula for it, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's our slope formula. It's just your vertical change over horizontal. So rise, vertical, run, horizontal, and then that's your formula. The equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. So this is using your slope. So m stands for slope, and b is your y-intercept. And that is a b, by the way. I'll make that look like a b. And once we find our slope, that's where it's going to go in the equation once we get to writing lines. Or sometimes if you are looking at this equation, the number in front of the x is your slope, so you can kind of pick that out of the equation. So since we always read the graphs from left to right, what kind of slopes do the following lines have? So n, line n is right here, and it is straight vertical. That line has a slope of undefined. Think about if you were a skier or a snowboarder. This would be like a really bad cliff to fall off of. You'd be going straight down, plummeting, undefined slope. Different than the next line, which is L, which is this one right here. Again, if you're a skier or a snowboarder, that is like zero slope. You are going 0 miles an hour. You are going nowhere in a hurry. Line J is decreasing from left to right, so that one has negative slope. And then line K, again, make sure you read from left to right. That one's going up, so that has positive slope. Now let's actually find a couple of slopes. We're going to do line A, B, and C. So I'll do line A first. And here's my line A. I'm going to find the 2 points I'm going to use, that one and that one. And it doesn't matter which one is your x ones or your y ones. So I'm just going to list 0, 2, and then 4, 6. And I'll go x1, y1, x2, y2. Doesn't matter, you could have done them backwards, you'll get the same answer either way. So now we're going to do y minus y, so 6 minus 2 over 4 minus 0. 6 minus 2 is 4, 4 minus 0 is 4, and make sure that you reduce and simplify, so the slope of that line is a 1. Next, do line B. So I'm just going to trace B so I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this point, the 4, 6, and then 7, 3. I'm going to label them again, so x1, y1, x2, y2. And then let's go ahead and subtract. So 3 minus 6 and 7 minus 4. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. And if I cancel those, I'm actually left with negative 1. Last one is line C. The 2 points on C are 0, 6, and 4, 6. So I'm going to go x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to try and squeeze this in here. So we're going to do the y's. So 6 minus 6, and then 4 minus 0. So 6 minus 6 is 0, 4 minus 0 is 4. But 0 over 4 is just 0, which makes sense because that line was horizontal right here. And that kind of a line we already discovered has 0 slope. Then we've got parallel lines, and the way that you mark parallel is by this little triangle here. You're going to see it somewhere on the lines, but those are telling you that they're parallel to each other. And parallel lines have the same slope. So if one of them is 4/3, then the other one is 4/3. They have to be exactly the same. Perpendicular lines have what's called opposite reciprocal. So if one of them was 4/3, then the other one would be 3/4 and negative. So opposite means you flip the plus and the minus. Reciprocal means you flip the fraction, whatever you've got. And then perpendicular lines, we know, have that box in the corner, so there's 2 lines meeting and they are perpendicular. By definition, horizontal lines are perpendicular to vertical lines. That one would be a little more difficult to mathematically see because you can't really flip undefined in order to make 0, but parallel, for Pete's sake, vertical lines and horizontal lines are perpendicular to each other. Last one, we're just going to pick out some slopes based off an equation. So here is an equation of a line, and they're asking me which one is slope. So way up at the top, we talked about this is the equation for a line, and if it were to look like this, then slope is just whatever's in front of the x. In order for it to look like this, I just need to get y by itself. So we're going to solve this equation for y. So I'm going to go ahead and minus the 5x away. So I have negative 3y equals 9 minus 5x. I'm going to divide by negative 3. And make sure you divide each thing by negative 3. So now y is, and 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. And then I have two negatives right here, so they'll turn positive. And I have 5/3 x. So the slope of my line is 5/3. It's whatever number is in front of the x when you are solved for y. So once y is by itself, whatever's in front of the x, that's your slope. So if we want it to be parallel to this line, my slope would need to be 5/3. And if we want it to be perpendicular, I would have to flip it and make it negative. So you're just going to be doing a lot of slope today in your lesson, in your assignment, either picking it out, vertical, horizontal, or doing actual slope formula to find the slope of the lines.